Good afternoon, everyone. Good afternoon to everyone who's watching us online and also who is on the webinar with me. This afternoon, my name is Rachel Muthoga. I am a private sector engagement consultant, and we are here with the Wezesha Biashara Network, who together with a number of business entrepreneurs are going to be taking us through a conversation for about 1 hour, talking about taking your business online. And we will be hearing from two proprietors and also from our resident expert who will be guiding us on the importance of being able to do business online, to give us some guidance on the tips and tricks to be successful while doing business online, but also to be able to learn a lot from their experiences, even as they've taken their businesses online. So with me this afternoon, I have a panel of three, and we have Ben Kirago, who is of the Wezesha Biashara Network. We have Grace Aduma, who is the proprietor of Agape Fish, and we have Nancy Morioki, who is the proprietor of Terry Kingsley online, and they'll all be able to engage us and also to give us their experiences. So I'd like to offer my panel a chance to introduce themselves. So I'd like to request Ben to start us off and just tell us about yourself, a bit of your background, and also who the Wezesha Biashara Network is. Over to you, Ben.
As said, my name is Ben Kirago, and as my current portfolio, I am director at Wezesha Biashara Network. But prior to this, I've been working with small businesses in various capacities. I have run SME programs in the horticulture sector, run SME programs working with the micro and small enterprise sector, and also worked with MSCs and small businesses to try and pass policies that favor small business. So my background really is working with small businesses, and the whole idea is to ensure that businesses thrive, because I understand that small businesses are very important in Kenya. Most of our people are employed by small businesses, over 70% of our population. And when small businesses do well in Kenya, the Kenyan population does well. Therefore, it's in recognizing that therefore, the Wezesha Biashara Network, which I believe I'll be able to speak a bit more on a bit later. Thank you, Rachel.
Okay, thank you so much, Ben, for that. Grace, I'd like to invite you to introduce yourself and the business that you run. If you can unmute yourself, Grace.
Hello?
Yes, we can hear you clearly.
My name is Grace Aduma, a retired teacher.
Mm-hmm.
Then after retirement, I wanted to just wake up to something. Mm-hmm. So I started the Agape Fish. We are at Susu Center, Canoe Building, Agape Shop. Inside the shop, there's a small eatery for people to eat fish and many other things. Before the pandemic, I was just selling on the counter at the shop, but I didn't have as many customers as I have today. So through my friend Grace Nzo, she taught me how to go online using the Facebook, the WhatsApp, and we can't believe it. I developed so fast. I got many customers, and even the supplier I have today, we met on Facebook.
Wow.
He found my contact, and he called me. Then he asked me how I get my fish. I told him I just buy from Nairobi. Then he told me there are possibilities of Nairobi fish being contaminated with the Chinese fish. So he was promising to bring me fish from Bita. Islands. So we hooked up, and now he's supplying me with fish. Very good. And little did I know that I'll get as many customers. Like today, I have nothing to sell because I don't have fish. It is all sold. Until
wow, that's brilliant.
Consignment.
Okay, so we'll hear more about your journey as we go on with the call. Thank you. So Nancy, if you could also just introduce yourself and also your business.
Hello, everyone. My name is Nancy Morioki. I'm the proprietor at Terry and Kingsley Collections. a business, an online business that I started back in 2008. But by then I wasn't so intentional into like have an idea of how to go about it and maybe grow to the level I am in. But looking at my journey and looking into what I really wanted to achieve with business, I didn't have capital maybe to start or to set up a shop in town or wherever. I talked to a friend who encouraged me to go online, and whereby you can start even with zero capital and grow your business into a big empire. So I've been selling stuff online through various platforms like WhatsApp, like Facebook, and I can't complain.
That's good. That's good to hear. And thanks so much. We'd want to hear more about the various platforms that you're on and also the impact that it has had on your business. And really, we're having this conversation at a time when many businesses are struggling. In fact, I would say most businesses, not just in Kenya, but around the world, have been negatively impacted by the COVID crisis. We know that we have seen the impact that the limitations of travel, the health concerns, and other responses have had on businesses being able to get customers or to continue the business in the business as usual as they've done. And so at this time, when we see the constriction of the economy and the limitations for businesses on how they can go about their business, it then becomes particularly important because we know that one area that has thrived, that has grown, is the online space. Even this meeting that we're having, being supported by the various platforms, we've seen that those have actually become particularly important as the world has tried to deal with the COVID crisis. And so at this point in time, then, when small businesses are having to really think hard about how to succeed in a very difficult business environment, I'd like to hear from you, Ben, about what your organization, the Wezesha Business Network, is doing to support businesses, but also what are the considerations that business owners should be having in this environment that we're in?
Thank you, Rachel. Firstly, Wezesha was born out of the realization that it's important for business people to come together because business people experience a lot of challenges. And it's just about the challenge of finance. I think Grace earlier talked about the challenge of sourcing quality produce, quality fish. And so we find that small businesses have a lot of challenges. And a lot of those challenges are best dealt with when you come together. You know the saying that when you're many together, you can go farther, but when you're alone, you can go faster. So it's as the name suggests, it's a network. It's a coming together of businesses. And what Wezesha tries to do is to bring businesses together and to help these businesses identify what their challenges are. And then, after understanding those needs, tries then to help them solve these problems by doing several things. One of the things that Wezesha does pretty well is be able to provide them with what we call business development services. And types of business development services. Where you offer bookkeeping services, an appreciation of the fact that small businesses do not have the capacity in terms of to pay a full-time accountant. Therefore, we seek to connect them with people who what we call outsourced services. Secondly, we also offer them services such as training, where you want to help them build specific skills in their areas of need. Apart from that, we also look at the whole issue of advocacy. And why do I say advocacy? As you realize, as these two people spoke, as the two business ladies spoke, there are certain challenges that even if you are an individual and how wealthy you are, you cannot do it on your own because it involves dealing with governments. And therefore, at Wezesha, what we try to do is have to do with at the national and county level, issues to do with matters such as licensing, lenders, and we try and see how we between the business plan and the government and try and represent them. So that's what we do. And our ambition is that at the end of the day, these businesses which are critical, like I said, they form 70% or more of employment in Kenya, that we hope that one day these businesses will thrive, such that Nancy, instead of employing them able to employ 10 people. Yes. Instead of just employing 5, she's able to employ 20. And that is how we'll create jobs in Kenya. So our work really try and create an enabling environment for small businesses so that they can thrive. That is really why we exist in those various forms.
Okay, thank you. And I'd like to go back to Grace because she had just started telling us the really interesting story of how she started actually selling in online during this season that we find ourselves in. And Grace, you mentioned, and I'll just reference the fact that you had earlier mentioned that you're a retired teacher, which
Yes.
means that you had a long career before you even decided to then go into entrepreneurship.
Yes.
And I know that one of the myths that exists is that people who have maybe lived a bit longer, I'm trying to be faithful here, people who have a bit more life experience find that it's hard to engage with technology because they have the attitude that e-technology, it's just come the other day, it's for young people, how do I engage? And so for me, I'm really interested to understand how you are able to navigate, how you are able to get the skills, but also your mindset, because you must be brave to be able to just say, I think this will work, let me jump in. So tell us a bit more about that.
To me, technology was not something new.
Mm-hmm.
Being a head teacher of a primary school, we used to use technology to file reports to the TSC. So technology was not new to me.
Okay.
Another thing, I just developed interests. You tell me about this, I go and do it. Like now, I cannot use the analog telephone because I've forgotten, but I'm so good in the digital one. Am I audible? Hello?
Hello, Grace, we can hear you?
You can hear me?
Yes, we can. Please proceed.
It was interest. Well, when you give up, you give up. But when you have the interest, there is no mountain you cannot climb. Mm-hmm. So mine was sheer interest on these platforms.
So maybe let's take us another step and explain to us, how did you actually acquire the skills on online selling as a new way to use the technology?
I started by WhatsApp. I have so many contacts in my WhatsApp page. Huh? So I started by bringing fish, taking photographs, and posting on my WhatsApp, especially on my what do you call it, status?
Yes.
You know, once you place it on your status, it goes very far. From there, through my friend Grace Nzou, and Kwamboka, they called me and told me what if I could go even a step further by having a Facebook platform, which I didn't reject. They taught me. I opened my face, and it was there. It is there called Nyaloka Agape Fish, Nyalokas. Nyaloka with NYA apostrophe LOKA apostrophe S. Nyalokas Agape Fish.
Okay.
And it is so much alive, though I don't invite friends from far because it is something in Machakos.
Okay, that's also interesting to hear that you're selling in Machakos and that it's still actually getting quite a lot of traction. That's really good to hear. So Nancy, please unmute yourself.
Yeah.
So you had mentioned to us that you actually started online, right?
Mm-hmm.
And so I guess you've had a much different journey from what Grace has just described to us. If you can just tell us the thinking behind starting online and also how your journey has been, and also let us understand the products that your company is selling.
All right. Okay, having an IT background, I'm trained in IT. I have a diploma in IT.
Mm-hmm.
I was a bit conversant with technology. I might say I was a bit conversant with the use of technology. but I really didn't know how I can use it now to get into business. And being a mother of two and having to see that I have to place bread on the table, and by then I couldn't afford capital to place a shop where I can have the walk-ins.
Yeah.
I was really trying to navigate through on how can I really afford to sell and to reach out to many people and make them see or know what I'm selling and also get some sales from the same. I remember talking to a friend, and her page was doing well by then. Then she helped me create my page, and I started posting little by little, and to an extent, maybe I couldn't find. I was just doing it the usual way where we find people boosting and no, not really boosting, but posting and sharing in other groups. But I thought, like, how can I do now to make some more income from the same? Like, for example, in my business, I deal with ladies stuff, household. I also sell household stuff, shoes, and that's the main of my main collection. And I didn't have that capital now to start selling from wherever I was. So I went into the market. I tried to identify wholesalers who would help me know what they are selling, and I joined in their WhatsApp, the broadcast and everything, so they would keep on updating us on items that are arriving and the wholesale price. Then I post from my side, I get a client, I rush, then I pick whatever I want to pick, I deliver, and I get paid. So my business, I can say it grew from zero. I didn't have capital, but I borrowed someone. I went bought a pair of shoes. I delivered to a client. The client pays. I get some more as my sales my sales continued increasing, and I also joined several WhatsApp group. I was just aggressive in trying to find avenues of how can I reach out to many people. I've been in some WhatsApp group for business, and I post my stuff. I get orders, then I deliver, and I also have attended several sessions on how to use technology to build my business, and through that I've gained some information, some very useful information, and that has really helped the group.
Allow us to do that type of should I call it marketing?
Yeah.
What is boosting?
So with boosting, it is an avenue to help you get more audience for your ads. You post an ad, like for example, if you are selling shoes, you post that shoe, you get a good photo and post that shoe. But now when it is limited, because maybe only those people who have liked your page are able to see what you have posted there. So for you to make it now go to the next level where it can reach a wider audience, you need to boost, simply paying some retro amount. And Facebook now gives your ad priority and also helps reach to many people without your effort, really. Just pay for it, is as little as 102 shillings a day to as much as you may want. So you can post for a day or a week, and then you get a lot of audience. So you get contacts, you get a lot of audience, and it is translated into sales.
That's interesting. It's also interesting to know that for a sacrifice of 102 shillings, you can actually increase the reach and get many more people who will be able to understand you and to get your viewership. Huh?
Yeah.
Maybe just to go back to Ben and talk to us about what I'm hearing from Grace and also now from Nancy is that they were already doing this business, but then at some point they decided to lay a new strategy. and to do things differently. And maybe it's the question is, for someone who is watching us, you're a sole proprietor, how do you go about building business strategy and making making decisions regarding how you're going to increase the impact and the reach of your business? Just give us some advice regarding the issue of strategy. Ben, if you could unmute yourself.
Okay, thank you, Rachel. First of all, I'm impressed by Grace and Nancy. I mean, here is a picture of the resilience of the Kenyan business person, especially the Kenyan business woman. I am thoroughly impressed by both of them and how they have been able to, during this very challenging time, being able to keep an open mind, to try new things. They've been able to seek training and be able to learn on the go and change. I think this is very impressive. And having said that, and coming back to your question, Rachel, about how do you plan new strategy? What is a strategy? A strategy is basically a plan. And what you realize about small business people is that they have a lot on their hands. They have a lot on their hands. So one of the things that a business person has is that they're everything in their company most times. They are the marketing manager, they are the chief accountant, they are the operations manager, they are the HR. So you have one person who has so much to do. And that is what makes it very difficult for small business people to grow, because one person or two people. Therefore, whenever we talk about planning, we need to make it very simple, work within their time schedules. One of the things I always tell small business people is that the first thing a small business needs to do, they need to plan. That they need to set apart time to be able to plan. Set apart a time of the day when they're not doing that they can do the planning. So what does that mean? Because a business person gets very busy, 9 o'clock hits in the morning, they are too busy to do anything. I know a business person who told me that the best time for them to plan is between 6 and 7 in the morning. They wake up in the morning, before they get rushed by many other things, they spend time sitting down to write, take a piece of paper and plan. And our plan is really a system of organizing your thoughts and what you will do. So to do that for a business person is to first of all set a goal. And the goal could, for example, be that right now my sales per month are 50,000, but I want to grow those sales to themselves. How do I achieve a goal of planning? Then they go about coming up with small steps with which they can achieve those figures. And for example, in this case, they decided to go online. They can boost their sales. In the case of Grace, in this case, where she had very little business, now she cannot even meet the needs. Then we have Nancy, who didn't have a lot of business, but now she's learned how to boost. And I can tell by the quietness of her voice as she says it, she's not doing badly. Her sales are growing. So they made plans. So they have to make time to plan, make a goal, and then make small incremental steps towards that goal. It could be as little as deciding that every morning I will call 10 new people. Every morning, I will boost my business on my social media. That's what they could decide to do. So it's not something very significant. And then as they do that, then they can set another goal. But I want to keep it simple and say they should set the time to plan. And then we can talk about other aspects of planning. They can plan that goal. They can make sure that that goal is SMART. You remember that time, that time we call SMART. And that's make sure that the goal is specific. The goal is measurable, the goal is achievable, the goal is realistic, and the goal is time-bound, SMART. So that's the other thing that they need to do. So once they do that, then they can take one goal, make sure it's SMART, and then achieve it. And I also want to advise business people to kind of when they're planning, to plan not just for sales, but also to plan other areas of their business. And what do I mean? Also make a plan for how you keep your accounts. Also make a plan of how you will manage your human resources, production. So plan for the whole range of the business, so that, because you find a business person will plan very well for sales. However, they plan very poorly for accounts. So what tends to happen is you find a business person who has got very good sales but very poor cash flow. And the reason why? The reason is they're not collecting enough money. Their credit control policy is very poor. Or you find a business person who's selling a lot, but they're in trouble with KRA because they did not take the trouble to plan their taxes. Because the tax man will catch up with you at some point or the other. So when you're planning, plan for the entire business. Plan about your personnel. If you are your personnel on contracts, even if it's 1 or 2 employees, try and see how you can improve the state of your employees. So as you can see, I go on and on, but do set the time, do have goals, and plan for the entire business. I think I'll leave it there for now, and then we can pick up later as we have questions. Thank you, Rachel.
Thanks a lot, Ben, and I think that's really sound advice, especially because we hear organizations talking about SMART goals, but we as individual business owners also need to see ourselves as institutions, and to be able to say, even I by myself can actually set SMART goals, but also work towards them by having a good strategy. So Nancy, you mentioned earlier about boosting. And I'll ask you a more general question about, we know the basic principles of doing business face-to-face, isn't it? You know, we are told about issues of location, we are told about how you treat clients. What's the online version of that? So that when you're doing business, what are the tips and tricks that you'd be able to give our audience in order to ensure that they are having successful engagements while they are doing business online?
Okay, what I must say as I begin is that it is very, very important to identify your audience, who your ideal audience are, like if it is women, if it is men, which age, like the location. Are you focusing to deal with walk-ins, or is your business purely online, whereby you want to reach out to people who want stuff to be delivered at the comfort of their homes or offices? So once you identify your niche and you identify your niche, then you can go to the next step where you can boost your ad. And boosting an ad on, let's say, Facebook, you simply need a MasterCard from any bank, like Equity Bank, whichever bank you're using, but with a MasterCard, it becomes easier. Then you need to have it activated where it can it accepts online payments. Once it's activated, you put as little as 400 shillings or even 1,000, but to start with, even 400 shillings you put in your account, then you are able now to have your card, to use your card like on online payments, like on boosting a page. So for someone maybe who is getting started, or someone who is working with a little capital, you just maybe put some 500 shillings or 400 shillings or 1,000. You put I can advise on a week, boosting your ad for a week. It doesn't just cut deduct 1,000 like all the amount in a day. It deducts daily, little by little, the 100. So you can keep boosting. Like you have the 300 shilling, you top up your account, your account tomorrow. As your sales continue increasing, you top up your account tomorrow. So when your ad runs for like a week, it would have reached to thousands of audience, and by then you'll be having some many engagements, and the conversion rate is high, it gets high. And I've seen scenarios where I boosted an ad, let's say on men canvas shoes. And even after the week is over, I am getting engagement. I'm getting engagement because it reached out to many people, and maybe someone was not in a position to buy that time, but they still remember, they saw my item, they saw my product, so they keep on coming back to me and say, do you still have the shoe I saw on on Facebook. Do you still have it? I need it in Kitale, I need it in Eldoret, I need a pair in wherever. And through that, I've really seen it growing my business bit by bit, bit by bit. Yeah.
Okay. And the thing with online businesses is that it allows you to almost build a relationship. And I'm going to go to Grace now and talk about the fact, like, I am an avid online shopper. To be very honest, I don't remember the last time I entered a shop, and I buy almost everything, be it food, clothing, anything that you can think of. I follow many pages on both Facebook, Instagram, and some WhatsApp groups, and I basically can buy almost anything online. But there are specific businesses that I find myself going back to, that I find myself continuing to relate with. Some of them I even know the seller's voice, though I've never met her in person. But I almost feel like we have a relationship. Grace, how do you maintain that relationship with your clients so that they feel attached, so that anytime they are craving fish, they're not just going again to research, they're remembering, Grace. How do you build that relationship despite the fact that you might never meet some of these clients? If you can unmute yourself, please.
One thing, it is important to give your best.
Mm-hmm.
Handle your customers very well. When they do an order, I deliver from within the town.
Yeah.
Make sure it's delivered in time,
mm-hmm.
and you have delivered the best.
Yeah.
Not ile imeharibika ndio unapeana, the best. So that tomorrow he'll feel like she gave me the best. Let me go back.
Yes.
When they call me, I'm always available. I don't want always to be a mteja. Mm-hmm. When they have a complaint, I listen and I make sure I correct.
Okay. That's really good, because basically what we are saying is that despite the fact that you might never have met this person in person, you actually have a relationship. And for businesses such as yourself, Grace, like let's imagine maybe in 1 month's time or in some time, COVID is over and now we have freedom of movement. Do you see yourself going back to selling only at the shop?
I'll do both.
You'll do both.
So it's a change that you're
not. Yeah, and it would be interesting to hear Ben's voice on this issue, because we know that a lot of businesses are pivoting at this time, changing how they do business. But in your view, and just based on your background working with businesses, what do you think might never change, post-COVID? What are some of the impacts that might continue to stay? And what would you advise companies, even as they're thinking about growing, even post the COVID situation?
So, Rachel,
yes.
When you look at the business environment, there's something. Are you asking what might never change and what will change?
Yes.
Okay. If we're to handle what there's some bare minimums that will remain whether we like it or not. But there's some things that we now are realizing that even when we come back from COVID, we will not go back to the same. One of the things that I think for me stands out is that we will no longer take customers for granted. Mm-hmm. I think previously we thought it would be very easy to always access our customers.
Yes.
We thought our customers will always be there. But what is now becoming apparent is that customers can actually disappear. Mm-hmm. That customers can actually be inaccessible. So what businesses now need to do, they will need to have several strategies with which to access their customers. There will be the normal face-to-face selling, but now beyond just face-to-face selling, there will be now, of course, online will continue to become more prominent. So that will change forever. Online business will continue to be an important component of what business is. The other thing that I think as we continue to do this, I think businesses now will need to stay alert to changing trends of technology, because online business goes a long way. It's connected to changing in technology, in online technology, changes in equipment. So businesses will need to stay attuned to the changes in the environment, in the ICT environment, and they no longer take it for granted. So when a parent sees their child using their WhatsApp or playing a game, they soon will be able to challenge their children because now they become so good at using this instrument. Environment. They will need to no longer take their customers for granted. They will no longer need to have more than one way of getting to their customers. I mean, all of a sudden, the Buddha guy has become very important. Previously, they would just be ignored, but now the Buddha guy who can deliver for you is very important. The other thing that will change now are different logistical setups. Before you always thought of walking to the supermarket. Now a businessman is realizing I don't have to be present. I can just get an order and get it delivered. So I think that is going to become more and more important. And therefore, even in terms of investment, in terms of businesses, we're going to see much more investment in ICT technology. I think what is going to change the most is that now more than ever, change is going to be a constant. And we need to be aware of that. Change is going to be a constant. I mean, I'm amazed by how great schools that retired teacher, in a span of 1 month, she has become a Facebook hero. I mean, in terms of the state she's able to generate. So I think what we must accept is that change is there with us, and we must be flexible and be open-minded and be willing to take on new challenges. I'm wondering about today. I know we have ladies here today, but it seems to me that almost as though ladies are probably more adaptable. I'm wondering about my men folk. How are we doing? But essentially speaking, I think change is going to be a constant, and we need to be open to changes in technology and changes in the way we deliver value to our various customers. I think those are the changes that I'm seeing going forward.
Okay, great. And
Rachel.
Okay, thank you so much, Ben. And I hear that from listening to you and also just listening to Nancy and Grace, I'm picking up that almost every facet of business is likely to be impacted. In her introduction, Grace mentioned about how she actually met her supplier online. And so you start to think of the whole value chain for any business starting to be online based as opposed to maybe this is the factory that I usually go to buy goods. Maybe this is the country that I usually go to. I walk around the malls, I buy items, I come back to Kenya to sell them. So both traders and others would have to think about what are the other parts of my value chain that I can actually change and that I can actually start to use online platforms in order to be able to move on. And we also have a number of members in the audience who are listening to us. And one question that I've been asked, and this has been put for both Nancy and Grace, so I'll ask Nancy to speak first and then we can come to Grace, is how often should one post their products online in order to be able to make sales? So how often would you say that one should be making posts in order to engage their audience? Nancy, what's your view on this?
Okay, my view is that you need to boost as often as you can, because there are new people signing into Facebook and everything every day. But at least an ad per week, like an ad per week. You make sure you capitalize on a certain item and you give it your all. Like you boost for a week, that following week you can choose to reboost again, the following week you can choose to reboost again, but at least there is no limitation. If you can manage to do it on a daily basis, you can manage to do it on a weekly basis, I think it's fine.
Okay, so there's no limitation. That's what I'm hearing from you. Grace, what is your view on posting and how often do you think businesses should do it?
Facebook will always alert you to let you know that your message is a bit overdue, so you need to renew. And I also feel that when I bring a new consignment, I have to tell my people that there is something new. So I post as much as I can because it doesn't cost me a lot.
Okay.
You can do it on daily basis. You can do it on weekly basis. You can do it. I do it when I get a new consignment.
I like that because you create excitement around the fact that there's fresh produce and customers want to come and get it, isn't it?
Yes.
Okay. And so thinking also about the fact that we have quite a number of different social media platforms that are available to us. We have Facebook, we have Instagram, we have the WhatsApp platforms. And how do you determine which is the best platform? What would you say? Like maybe let me go directly to Grace and say, you've been giving us the example of Facebook. Are you on any other platform?
Just on WhatsApp.
Facebook and WhatsApp. And what made you decide to choose those two?
I think I was limited. I was limited.
Yeah. So those are the ones you knew and they're the ones you went for.
Yeah, I know. I was just limited to Facebook and WhatsApp. But with the time, I will venture into many other platforms.
Okay, great to hear that. Nancy, what's your view on the same?
Okay, majorly I've been using Facebook and WhatsApp, but I'm working on a project whereby I want to go through Instagram and also a website for my items, for my business.
Okay, a website too. And I guess when you're thinking about logistics and the logistics of doing business online, one of the big issues is that when you're looking at your costs, that of course delivery is a cost, isn't it? That either you'll have to get a rider or you must have an assistant who is able to then walk over to the venue and be able to hand over the goods to the client. And it would be interesting to understand from you, what practice have you been engaging in? Are you passing on that delivery cost to the client, or do you add it to the cost and consider it a business cost? Grace, if you can take us forward.
I don't. It is my profit and loss account. Yeah, because if you put it on your clients, the cost might be so high.
Yeah,
it might discourage them. So you just know how to play about with it. Play about with it so that you don't lose so much and you don't hurt your customers so much.
Okay, so you balance it out, huh? Nancy, what has been your experience on that?
Okay, considering that most of my items are not bulky, I offer free delivery within the estate where I live, and in the city where I have a physical location. But for outside CBD, I said that I use riders. But if it is beyond Nairobi, now we have to use the parcel charges. Now those one the customer has to cater for. Which
Okay.
ranges from 200 to 300 also, depending on the location.
Okay, so we've very much focused on the positive side of online business, the value add and the impact the positive impact that it has had. But we know, as with everything else in life, there is nothing that is without challenges. So it would be interesting to hear from you some of the challenges that you have faced, maybe even some of the experiences that you've had with clients that were not so positive, so that we can also be able to show both sides of the coin. Grace, have you had any negative experiences or challenges in doing online business?
Somebody does an order, deliver, and then you give a buy goods number, till number, but they don't deposit money in the till number. Later on, they claim they deposited. You cannot prove that. Sometimes you give her something so good, but later on she refuses to pay and tells you that it wasn't that good. So I know she didn't bring it back to complain. It was consumed, but why it becomes not good.
Okay.
I threw most of it away. So that is a very big challenge.
Okay, especially in the food industry, that definitely would be an issue, right? Where the decision as to whether something is good or not good is very subjective and is based on the customer's palate and their taste. And so that can be a challenge.
Yes.
Nancy, any challenges you faced?
Yeah, of course, there have been maybe a couple of challenges.
Nancy, if you can speak up, we're not hearing you clearly.
Yeah. Okay, I'm saying there's been a challenge, like for instance, you post an item, you you post an item, the client orders, you deliver, and then they would tell you this is not the texture, like it's a clothing or whatever, or a pair of shoe. They say this is not the texture. I thought it was like this. I thought it was like this. And also issues of delivery hours. Someone says they want to pick the item at a certain hour. Maybe you said a rider or you organize on the deliveries, then they keep on postponing, or you keep the item in the house. They say they will pick from your place, and then it takes maybe even 3 or 4 days. The customer say maybe they traveled or they lost interest or something of the sort. And also another challenge, maybe now during these COVID times,
Yes.
is the issue of exposure. Like when COVID entered Kenya and everyone wanted to stay home, they want you to deliver at the comfort of their homes. So you are the one now exposed outside. So there was that also issue of feeling like, am I safe? Am I okay? But yeah, you are the one now in the field, and you may encounter maybe several issues with time, with traffic, with exposure, maybe to COVID or whatever. But we take it positively.
Yeah.
Just know where to rectify. Some people will say maybe you've delivered a kitchen item, maybe that uses electricity. After 2-3 days, they tell you it's not working, or so they want you to replace, and maybe they mishandled the item, it fell, or they mishandled. Now they want a replacement, and by the time you delivered, you tested everything, it's working perfectly. After 2 days or 3 weeks, they now start complaining, and maybe it's saying that your items are not of quality. But those are some of the few challenges. Or maybe you get a huge order, and with current status with online selling, people would always want to pay on delivery. So if you're working maybe with the limited capital, you need to know where to source out that capital. You buy that bulk order and then you deliver so that the customer may pay on delivery. But also, like one phrase is talking about, someone says that they are depositing. Okay, let me. I don't have cash. Like I have. You have sent maybe a rider, someone who claim or something of the sort, that they want to go deposit cash in the M-Pesa, then pay later. But now you have to be very strict and tell them no. Every time I am delivering something, you must be ready to pay. Be ready to pay. You give them the till number and everything. So for me, those have been minimal challenges with payment. Yeah.
Okay, thank you. And it's true, like as I was mentioning earlier, when COVID happened, even things that I would typically have gone to the market to buy, even be it tomatoes, onions, those basics that typically I would go out and buy. But suddenly I was like, let it come to the door, let me pay, even if, let me feel safe. But I'm also cognizant that on the other hand, the business person or the person doing the delivery is at risk. But also I know that my reaction to businesses that were very clear on their websites, on their Facebook, on their Instagram, about the measures that they are taking to protect their staff, I was more likely to buy from them. So if you tell me, please make sure that our rider will come, he will be wearing a mask, he will be wearing gloves, please pay him using M-Pesa so as to reduce the risk. I feel that you're a responsible business, and I'm more likely to buy from you because I feel, okay, you're also doing the best that you can to support the staff that you work with and also to take care of me as a customer. So that gives me a lot of confidence. And really going forward is, what do you think? I think, Ben, if you can take us to maybe a policy level to think about what are the important things that are going to need to ensure that we continue to do in order to support the growth of businesses online. Of particular concern, of course, is the proposal for the taxation of online businesses, and maybe to hear your commentary on that and the potential impact that taxation can have on the capacity of Kenyan businesses to take the advantages that Nancy and Grace have taken.
Thank you. Government has come out with a package of incentive. Package that they're saying should help businesses be sustainable. They've they've come out with packages such that such as guarantee guarantees at a certain level. They've also reduced corporate tax and also asking landlords to be compassionate with their tenants, including business people. County governments at the same time have suspended certain county licenses at the county level, suspended certain levies, given longer times for pay. So we are finding all these incentives by government. However, even as saying that, what we find a lot of times is what government says happens on the ground. So I find that though government says many good things, the business person many times it does not get to them. Haimfiki kwenye biashara. Those loan facilities. I know of somebody who went to their bank, they own a property, and they had been told that if they go to the bank, they will get a loan holiday. When they went to the bank, what the bank did is they told them, yes, by 10,000 per month. A loan holiday, that is being harassed. So what I tell business people, you need to do as much as in yourself, what is within your reach. Because if you look to government, unfortunately, appointed. Also, the things the government is talking about may come for 6 months later. As you know, government is very slow. So they say, you have to, so for example, your customers are having a hard time paying, them paying you a large amount at once. Can they pay you? So I also know of that building owner. They told the tenants, pay me installments. Get them, that has helped. So be empathetic with your advise customer business people. You also need to be careful. Sell to limit, be very on credit because they may not pay. Just tell them, by the way, right now I'm not able to supply you, and you know that they will not pay you. So choose who to supply to. And you know some of your customers. Sometimes you know. So, but you're take charge of your life. The other thing that you could do is that make sure that you have some reserves. And I'm not saying this in a pandemic when it may be too late, but for the future, weka akiba kando, because a rainy day is coming. As sure as the sun is with us here today, a rainy day will come. Try as much as you can to put some savings aside. The other thing I always tell business people, avoid Shylocks if you can. Avoid Shylock loans as much as you can. Because what I've seen, and I've seen this, Shylocks have no mercy. If you are bought from Shylock, they do not know COVID. They will come and take your business items. They will stop. They will come and take your car. They will come to your house and take. So be very careful with who you borrow from. Reduce your debt as much as possible so that it is achievable and maintainable in the times of a crisis. I mean, all of us are looking at the TV, and how can a country such as America, within a month of them being hit by COVID, they are people? And I wondered, why is that? People live on a lot of debt, a lot of debt. Debt is dangerous, both generally for life and especially for business. So much as government, by the time they get to the business, too late. So I always tell the business, and that will help you during a rainy day. But other things that try, if you can read the bank, go to your bank, if you have any new loan facility, But unfortunately, I'm one of those people who believe that we take our own destiny, especially. Thank you, Rachel.
Thank you so much. And really, that's a great way to think about it in terms of, yes, there's a policy environment, there are things that government is doing, but we also as businesses must be able to take charge of our destiny and to plan and organize ourselves. So I'm now ready. We're up to 3:30. I'm ready to hear final words. And one of the questions that has just been shared online, even as you're saying your final words, is the issue of competition, dealing with online sellers, other online sellers who are selling the same thing. So maybe Nancy, if you can give us your last words, any advice that you're giving, and also the question of competition.
Okay, now on the issue of competition, and having come to understand that we are so many people maybe offering the same services or selling the same items, I would would say that we majorly deal with our customer satisfaction. You ensure that you don't just sell to get money, but you sell items that will bring satisfaction to your customers. So dwell on quality, dwell on your customer satisfaction, because most of the business would come from referrals. So you are many, but when somebody says give reviews of your product and they say I bought this from Nancy or from so and so and it's working perfectly for me, definitely that person would want to buy from you. So with competition, yes, we are many, yes, we are selling the same items, but there is a way you can now go beyond that, offer the best you can, sell the quality items, and give your customer the best services. Be there to respond to your queries on time, offer timely services, be true to your word. When you say you are delivering at this hour, do it, and keep your word. That's what I would say.
Okay, thank you. And Grace? I think we seem to have Grace seems to be having a connection problem. I think for me is to say, thanks Ben for the advice with regards to policy and going forward. And for me is to say thank you so much to the audience that has joined us today. I think it's been and to the panelists who have given us such really useful and timely advice. As we said at the beginning, this COVID is our new normal. Yes, we might face, we might flatten the curve, but for a long time, we know that we will still be dealing with the impact and the effects of COVID. And so businesses really must think about what they're going to do differently in order to survive. And one of the last questions that we've received online is with regards to where viewers can be able to, if you missed the show, where you can be able to go back and watch the whole of it. It's actually going to continue to be available on the various Facebook pages. So just to confirm that you can view it on the pages of the Wezesha Biashara Network on Facebook, who are our profiles, will continue to be on their page, who are our posts, will continue to be on their page. It's also going to be available on Newsline TV. It's NIUSLIN TV, who are our media partners. It's also going to be available on the pages of the individual businesses that are represented here, Nyaloka's Agape Fish and also Terry and Kingsley Collections, who were so grateful for coming on board and sharing up with us your experiences and also giving us your advice. It will also be available on my page. That's Rachel Muthoga. And we really look forward to being able to continue with these engagements and being able to have more and more conversations. And I believe that Wezesha Biashara will be hosting a number of these which are targeted at small and medium enterprises and looking at what we can do to ensure that our businesses are growing, thriving, and actually being able to create economic sustainability for the businesses, for the families that are involved in the work that the businesses are doing. So thank you very much. Looking forward to another engaging session next week, same time. Thank you so much, and bye.
Bye.
Bye.